You're watching TAG TV.
Good evening, welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Vishakha Ratan. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 6th of June. Search operations underway after grenade attack in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Pashtun activists protest in Canada against Pakistani state-sponsored terrorism. Afghan President Ghani calls for China's greater role in regional peace. And now for all the details, Indian security forces carried out a search operation in Bandipora district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday after militants attacked an army camp on Tuesday night. Meanwhile, in another incident, 3 militants were gunned down by security forces during an encounter in Machil sector of the province.
Security forces carried out a search operation in Bandipora districts of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday after militants attacked an army camp in the region. A group of militants hurled grenades using under-barrel grenade launcher on Tuesday night at the camp. The area was cordoned off and combing operations were underway till RAS reports came in. Meanwhile, the Indian Army on Wednesday foiled an infiltration bid in Machil sector of the province along the border with Pakistan, killing 3 militants. Officials said troops noticed suspicious movement along the frontier and challenged the infiltrators, in which 3 militants were gunned down during an encounter. India accuses Pakistan of training and arming militants and helping them infiltrate across the border to spread unrest in Kashmir Valley. Pakistan denies the allegations.
An anti-Pakistan protest was held by the Pashtun Council Canada in Toronto City against the recent firing by Pakistani security forces on a rally of Pashtun activists in Waziristan. Pashtuns have long blamed they have been victims of gross human rights violations by Pakistan's military in federally administered tribal areas. Pashtun Council Canada held a protest rally in Toronto City against Pakistani security agencies and the state-sponsored Taliban responsible for attacks on innocent Pashtuns. The protesters staged demonstrations to show their solidarity with the Pashtun Tehfuz movement or PTM activists. Several PTM activists were allegedly killed as Pakistani security forces attacked a peaceful rally in South Waziristan earlier this week. The protesters demanded an investigation into the attack and demanded the international community to intervene.
According to the Constitution of Pakistan, everybody has the right to exercise their peaceful protest. But whenever Pashtun did it, they have been defamed, they have been tortured, they have been killed. And this game is going on for so many years.
Pashtuns have long blamed that they have been targets of military operations, internal displacement, ethnic stereotyping and abductions by the Pakistani security forces. They accuse that Pakistan Army functions along with militant groups in the region and indiscriminately uses force against innocent Pashtuns. Moving on, load shedding and the increase in the price of electricity has been a major problem for residents in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. It has now triggered unrest as residents in the illegally occupied region claim authorities are not doing much to solve the problem.
Prolonged load shedding in Pakistan-administered Kashmir is creating unrest among residents of the illegally occupied region. People in the region blame the authorities for not doing much to solve the problem in spite of having abundant water resources to generate sufficient hydroelectricity. Unscheduled and long hours of load shedding have hit the businesses and studies of children.
समझ नहीं है किसी वक्त जिससे अपना टाइम टेबल उसका कोई नहीं है किस टाइम आती है किस टाइम जाती है घंटा 1 घंटा होती है तो 10 घंटे उसका पता ही नहीं होती है खासकर छुट्टी वाला दिन बच्चों की वर्दियाँ धोनी होती हैं और सफाई का दिन होता है उसमें तो नज़र नहीं आती तो उसके अलावा बिजली की मिकदार जो है वो हमारे पास जो ट्रांसफार्मर पे लोड है वो बहुत ही नॉर्मल होता है उसमें, बर्की हालात वगैरह वो चलते ही नहीं हैं उसमें। तो और अक्सर ये प्रॉब्लम है कि अभी एक ट्रांसफार्मर हमारा जल गया था, वो 1 महीना हमारे पास वो बिजली बंद रही है।
Residents alleged that it is a part of Pakistan's agenda to keep the region underdeveloped. Pakistan-administered Kashmir was illegally occupied by Pakistan more than 6 decades ago, and the establishment has failed to develop the infrastructure of the region.
In news from Afghanistan, Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani has called for China's greater role in stabilizing his country, as he believes Beijing is a global pillar of international peace and stability. Ghani's assertions come at a time when the Afghan security forces are tackling the Taliban insurgency in at least 14 provinces across Afghanistan.
Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has said that China is a global pillar of international peace and stability, and that Beijing must play a more inclusive role in stabilizing Afghanistan and the region. Ghani said the ongoing threats faced by Afghanistan are not confined to a single country, and that the regional nations must arrive at a common understanding of these threats. His assertions come at a time when the Afghan National Defense and Security Forces are tackling the Taliban insurgency in at least 14 provinces across the country.
First thing is to arrive at a common understanding of threats.
نخستین اصل مهم رسیدن به یک درک مشترک از تهدیدهاست، زیرا این تهدیدها متوجه یک کشور نیستند. آنها برخواسته از شبکه هستند. در حالی
Meanwhile, a number of lawmakers in Afghanistan's lower house of parliament said the Afghan government needs to outline more comprehensive programs for areas under threat to overcome the current crisis. This comes as reports indicate that fatalities among government forces have significantly increased as the Taliban has expanded its offensive across Afghanistan.
More on news from Afghanistan. Afghanistan's Independent Election Commission on Tuesday said the election management body has finalized the database for the voter registration process ahead of the polls in October. According to the poll body, the number of people registered to vote is now over 5.1 million across Afghanistan.
Officials from the Independent Election Commission or IEC of Afghanistan on Tuesday said that they have finalized the database for the voter registration process. They said until now details of 50,000 voters have been registered. According to the poll body, the number of people registered to vote is now over 5.1 million.
با تکمیل درج معلومات این ثابت می‌سازد که ما به شکل واقعی چند نفر در سراسر افغانستان داریم و از مجموع کسایی که ثبت نام کرده چند نفر از لحاظ قانونی یک رای دهنده حساب میشه و چقدر دیتا از این مشکل داره.
The IEC said the handbooks which contain the information about voters have been scanned by its employees in 22 provinces and that they have sent their data to the center. Last month, the IEC announced that it had prepared the database for the voter registration process through which provincial heads of the institution can update data on a daily basis. Afghanistan will witness the parliamentary and districts councils elections in October this year.
Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in India's capital, New Delhi, unveiled the wax figure of Indian cricketer Virat Kohli on Wednesday. Dressed in the blue jersey of the Indian national team, Kohli's batting pose became an instant hit among the visitors. The museum, which is the 23rd edition to the Madame Tussauds series, has around 50 statues of celebrities from across the globe. Waxwork of Indian cricket captain Virat Kohli was unveiled at New Delhi's Madame Tussauds Museum on Wednesday. As per reports, a team from the museum had held meetings with the 29-year-old talismanic cricketer back in March, wherein some renowned artist had taken 200 measurements of the modern-day run machines to create his authentic figure. Dressed in the blue cricketing colours of the Indian national team, Kohli's batting pose became an instant hit among the visitors.
See, Virat is one of the most, celebrated and one of the most famous cricketer in the world. He has been named ICC Cricketer of the Year also, and he is the Indian cricket team captain. So this figure has been one of the most important figure for us, and entire team is very excited about Virat being inside our attraction.
Kohli, who was recently ranked 83rd in the Forbes list of the world's highest paid athletes, has led up India's under-19 cricket team to a World Cup win and was also a part of the 2011 World Cup winning side.
Yeah, it's great and huge because Virat Kohli is a great batsman and aggressive batsman. He's he's the captain of Indian team for today. So India needs him. He's in very good form. He has played very great in the IPLs, and that's it. So it's needed.
The Delhi branch of Madame Tussauds is divided into 5 sections: music, sports, film celebrities, history and leaders. It houses wax statues of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Bollywood superstars Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan, and Canadian pop star Justin Bieber. As part of the ongoing festivities during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, a poetry and musical program was recently held in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. The main aim of the event was to highlight poetry by women and revive the old folk songs of the Kashmir Valley.
A poetry and music program was recently held during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. The event was a part of the series of events taking place in Srinagar city to celebrate Ramadan, during which Muslims try to engage themselves in activities like reciting the Holy Book Quran, attending Islamic conferences and other religious events. Apart from local students and teachers, renowned poets and government officers also participated in the event.
बहुत ही अच्छा प्रोग्राम आज का रहा जो कि एकेडमिक डायरेक्टर ऑफ एकेडमिक कल्चरल आर्ट्स ने यहाँ पे इनकाद किया था. बहुत ही ज़रूरत है कश्मीर को इन सब प्रोग्राम की.
The main aim of the event was to highlight poetry by women and revive the old folk songs of Kashmir Valley. The folk songs of the valley have different dimensions that locals sing on different occasions like marriages, Eid, and to welcome the holy month of Ramadan.
Engineers in Indian capital New Delhi have come up with a unique device that converts diesel fumes into ink. The engineers are aiming to bring down the pollution levels in the major cities of India by a very significant percentage in a short span of time. As the pre-monsoon summer heat takes hold in Indian capital New Delhi, with more than 104 degree Fahrenheit days, air pollution from the diesel generators are inevitable with the increasing heat. A team of Indian engineers have figured out a way to bring some good from choking generator exhaust. They have created the first ever device at Chakra Innovators to capture emissions specifically from diesel generators, a welcome invention for a country which has 14 of the 15 most polluted cities in the world, according to the World Health Organization or WHO.
We have created a product that can capture the smoke particles out of the exhaust of diesel generators by 70 to 90% in a plug and play fashion. So we are aiming to bring down the pollution levels in the major cities of India by a very significant percentage in a very short span of time.
The company Chakra Innovation has so far installed 50 of these devices for real estate developers and other provincial government offices, earning more than $200,000 in revenue in the first year. The company has plans to install another 50 devices over the coming year. It has so far sold over 500 kg of collected soot, which has been used to create more than 20,000 litres of ink. Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Search operations underway after grenade attack in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Pashtun activists protest in Canada against Pakistani state-sponsored terrorism. Afghan President Ghani calls for China's greater role in regional peace. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter at SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.
watching TAG